Today we are going to touch on a very sensitive topic. However, I want to do it because I want to send out a very clear message to all our viewers. What should you do should you face sexual harassment at work?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to What's Your Advice? I'm your host, Alice, and on this channel, we bring in esteemed guests to share their invaluable insights on a variety of topics based on their unique background and experiences. Due to the nature of the topic today, which involves sexual harassment and bullying, you will not be able to see the guests, and her voice has been crossed with a voiceover. So without further ado, let's welcome our guest today, Iris. Hi, Iris. How are you doing?
Hi, Alice. I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for willing to come and share your story of struggles with us. This is very, very much appreciated. I know that it can be a very sensitive and difficult topic. So myself and the viewers are very, very thankful. So let's start off with understanding that you came to the Netherlands first as a master's student and thereafter stay on to find a job and continue to live here. What would be your advice for anyone who's looking into studying abroad and settling down into a new country?
Yeah, for me, I think the starting abroad was quite different from actually settling down here, but
Mm-hmm.
it was fun for sure. When I first came here, everything was super new for me, and I didn't know a lot. I didn't really speak English fluently. I was a little bit uncomfortable with making friends with people from different places,
Right.
etc. I had struggles with following the materials that taught us in the classes, etc. So to me, it was a really completely switch from my previous background to here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think the most important thing would be like to have an open mind and to not be afraid. Um, because if you just go and learn on the way, it will be just okay. Because if you talk to other people and your classmates, you will notice like everybody's bit the same.
Mm.
They're just trying to figure out everything along the way. And yeah, after studying, I think settling down is like the real world,
Mm-hmm.
because you get to see the real life of it. It's like, oh, how to pay your bills, how to, yeah, find a job, how to stand up on your feet, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It can be, yeah, very overwhelming. It was
Mm.
for me.
Yeah.
I also had a period that I didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
That I worked at restaurants, from restaurants to, to pay my bills, to do part-time job, etc. And in the end, it took me for like a year to
Mm-hmm.
yeah, find a job eventually. So it was
Mm-hmm.
quite a long process, and in the process, you also doubt yourself a lot.
Right.
And once you find a job, then it's also not the perfect world, because
Mm.
there's tax, there's like you
Mm.
know things is not always a happy thing to deal with. And
Mm.
how to rent a place, because it's so hard to find a place in the Netherlands.
Right.
And how to deal with the landlord, etc. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really know if there's a perfect answer, but it's like try to talk to other people. And
Mm-hmm.
the locals always know more about different rules in living
Mm-hmm.
here. And then you can make friends and know a little bit like how to be more like how to integrate in this place.
Yeah. But during school times, did not the school during your final year kind of help you, not just you, of course, the final year students, to kind of prepare for the working world?
They offered workshops, but yeah, I mean they offer workshops to change the CVs and teach you
Mm,
how to write a cover letter and how to present yourself. I yeah, that was a bit helpful, but I actually think the most helpful thing for me was to actually go out and talk to people.
mm-hmm,
One thing I liked most was to reach out to people on LinkedIn, just
mm-hmm,
have a coffee chat, you know. If you tell them, for example, you are a graduate student and you are looking for a job, you know, you have a master in this and you're looking for in that area and you know you are really interested in what they do and just you know would like for coffee, I think at least half of the people will be happy like to yeah to have a talk with you and they will be
mm-hmm.
open for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very good advice. I also encourage anyone looking for a job actually to reach out, talk to people, use your network. Because if you don't tell others you're looking for a job, people will not know that you actually need a job. So you have to let that be known, number one. And number two, I agree with you. Please do use LinkedIn now. It's really the most helpful and useful platform for job seekers out there, even for business owners like myself. So, and I like your approach where you approach, even though they may be strangers, but you explain why you want to connect with them and how they can help you and why you are interested in their particular role or in the company that they are working for. So, apart from the challenges that you mentioned, which is very true, moving to a new country and life outside school is so different, right? It's like you overnight you suddenly become much more matured and you have to learn to be street smart. But there are also benefits to living abroad. So, in your opinion, what are the biggest benefits you feel you have gained after living in the Netherlands? Is it now for about 7 years?
Yeah, 6 7 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It has been a long time. But yeah, I have gained a lot of like different perspectives and views for sure. Because yeah, back then from where I came from, we have a lot of fixed views on things. That's also what social media has been, you know, teaching you, okay, what is this and what is that. You can only see you know, on social media what is the Netherlands or what is Europe, you know, and sometimes they can be very biased. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot see the real version of the country or the people who live there. And once you actually, yeah, come here and talk to them, and yeah, spend a day or two or a week, you actually feel that's very different from what you just see from the videos, etc. I believe
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I first came here, I instantly was amazed by how chill people are with their life. And you know, now it's also the summer, and you can see so many people outside on the grass enjoying the sunlight, sunshine, and there are like music festivals everywhere. So you can see like people just being happy and going out, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And even you know if it's not summer, I think winter is definitely more difficult, but then you can also have a lot of other activities. You can, I don't know, go skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they in the Netherlands have a habit like okay, a lot of people go skiing every year. It's like the family tradition or something.
Mm-hmm.
So when I saw this kind of things, I also was a bit surprised. that life can have so many things to do.
Mm-hmm.
I was really focused on my career and, going for targets, thinking about making money and, keep progressing and learning stuff to make more money, etc. But then once I came here, I see so many different choices. Some people they give up their job to do something else. That's fine. Some people give up their study to try another trajectory. That also happens.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you have a full-time job, then you can also explore yourself outside your job and have multiple hobbies in your free time.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, yeah, I get most experience, like most insights, as you have a lot of choices and options in life.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't, or don't need to limit yourself too much.
Right.
And I don't think I'll have the same feelings if I didn't come abroad to study or to work.
Right. Right. Why do you think it would be so different if you have stayed back in your home country?
That's very difficult. So a while ago, I'm from China. So a while ago, I went back to China for a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Visited my friends and my families, and I was also trying to make a decision about where I want to live in the future.
Mm-hmm.
As really like as good as it is in the Netherlands, I felt my families and friends are all in China. Sometimes, it's a really like a lonely feeling here. So I felt like, oh, maybe I should think about living in China as well. And that was the first time for real that I actually felt the reverse culture shocks. I haven't been back for quite a few years, and I seem to have lost track on how everybody's thinking about life, about work, etc. And I'm again surprised about how much um people want to just make money and focus on the material life.
Yeah.
I can understand like to some extent that's also what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
A friend and I had a talk, and then he said, "Oh, I'm just thinking next year I want to make this much money, or I want to switch this job." But when I asked him, "Do you actually like it? Do you like what you're doing?" And then he said, "Liking, it's a quite luxury, to like what to actually do. Just trying to survive. I'm just trying to give me and my family the best material life." So I asked the question, okay, so if you don't need to worry about money, what will you do? And then he said, he had a really long silence, and then after a while he said that he had this interest decades ago, maybe when he was really young, that he wanted to do a programming to be a programmer. He even won some awards in some competition with programming. So yeah, I felt it's such a shame to just give up your interest. But I feel in some ways, me and my families and people in China, we are thinking, differently. We are drifting apart a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is actually quite a common scenario that you just described about when one leave our home country and move to a new country for long enough. And when I say long enough, I don't mean 1 to 3 years, because sometimes school or work assignment might bring us to a new place for 1 to 3 years assignment, and then we go back to our home country. But if you stay longer than that, you might find that your relationship with your family and friends back home has changed. We are not saying that this is bad or you should not move, therefore, and stay back in your home country. But we just want the viewers to understand that it can grow either deeper, the relationship can grow deeper, or you can grow apart. So what Iris has just shared is her personal experience, which I myself experienced as well, because our level of thinking and our lifestyle and the way we value what we want in our life has changed. So yeah, so therefore, we just want to bring a very realistic picture to people who are considering to move abroad. So you also mentioned in the beginning about some struggles of living here. And from what I heard, you seem to have some unpleasant experiences from work, such as sexual harassment or even bullying at work, perhaps. Would you be able to share that with us?
Yeah, sure. So it happened a few years ago, and it was very unpleasant to me. But yeah, I felt like, when I experienced it, I was a few years younger than I am now, and I didn't have enough in experience, or I didn't know what to do. But then, if it helps our viewers or listeners, then I'm glad to share. So from my previous work, and there was like a senior person from the same department that he likes to joke a lot, and make jokes with different people, and appear to be very attentive and welcoming. And why I joined the team, he was also very welcoming and helped a lot. So I thought, okay, he's really a nice guy. But then as the joke, happens from time to time, a few times, those jokes cross the line. And when it first happened, I felt really uncomfortable, but also shocked and confused. I didn't really know if I was overthinking or if it's just, inappropriate. So I decided to avoid him, avoid that, or pretend, nothing really happened. But then I just didn't reply anymore, didn't continue with the conversation. But then, he did that a few times. And then I just became more and more uncomfortable. And then I just try to avoid him more to some extent. One day he want to invite me to a lunch together or something, and then I refused, and then he just basically told my manager that I didn't really do a project because I didn't show up at the meeting. So I felt really offended, and then I felt like, why do you say such things, and is this unfair? So I told my manager about it. And when my manager asked me, do you think, it might be a weird question, but do you think he might have, like, he might be really interested in you or something, in like inappropriate way? And I said, actually, yes, I do feel like that because of the inappropriate jokes. And then, I thought my manager would help me in that. But apparently he didn't know how to handle it either. He asked me what I wanted to do, but I needed a visa for my sponsorship to stay here. So I said, I wanted you to be like mindful of this. But I also don't want to make it weird to work together or something. So that's that. And then his advice for me was like try to ignore him and just pretend nothing happens. Maybe, yeah, he will just get bored of it or something.
Right.
And then another colleague saw the situation and took advantage of that because she felt like she saw me as a competitor. So she kind of
That's
uh,
horrible.
yeah, joined his side and then bully me together because when there's a work situation that I need their help, that will give me cold shoulders and do the giggling together, and when you come close, I suddenly stop talking, um gossiping behind you, something like that. So it was really tough for me. But then, when I talked to my manager, he was always like, oh, just ignore them, bullies will get bored of it if you don't give them the power. That's what he says.
Oh dear.
I try my best to ignore them, and um I didn't really go forward and tell them like, guys, just stop talking like that. It's not okay, because I know what kind of people they are. And if I go forward and tell them, they will like, I didn't talk about you. Like, it's what are you like? Stop being crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in the end, it has such a traumatic impact on me. Eventually, I had a burnout and I decided to leave because I don't think it's worth my energy and my mental health.
Right.
That's yeah, quite a bad experience.
Yeah, I can imagine. And thank you so much for willing to share this very intimate story to us, to the public. And yeah, it's horrible. I was about to ask you, when your ex-colleague made the jokes, were there anyone around? Did the other colleagues hear the jokes that he played on you?
No, not really. He did it over text, so they didn't hear anything, but I did tell them. Like, I did tell a few of colleagues who were close to me, just to, ask how do they feel about it. And then they said, oh, it's probably just joking, him. He's just that kind of guy. He likes jokes a lot, but he does he's always helpful to us all, right? He's just this kind of guy. Maybe he didn't mean bad. It's just caused even more confusion for me.
Exactly, exactly. Especially what make it worse was you brought it up to the manager. I mean, he twisted the situation and turned around to put the blame on you. And when you bring this up to your manager, he even said just ignore it instead of going to him and tell him that his actions are wrong. So I'm very sorry to hear that. First of all, I want you to realize that this is definitely not your fault. Some victims tends to always think that it must be their fault to invite the other person to take advantage of them. Please, this is what we call a self-punishment thought. No way are you at fault for that kind of behavior from your ex-colleague, including your ex-boss, as well as the fellow female colleague who is not even helping someone who is actually being bullied. She may not know about the harassment that he did on you, but to support him in ignoring you when you need help and joining in the laughing and all that is really terrible. So it is a fact of life, though, that in the workplace we can have colleagues like that. But I want to say that I'm glad well, of course, the burnout was unfortunate, but I'm glad that you decided to walk away because you did ask for help. and it did not come to you. So you decided to just walk away to save yourself from suffering further in that company. So thank you for that, and I'm very glad that you make this move. So what would be your advice then to our listeners, our viewers out there, should they face a similar situation?
Yeah, to be honest, this kind of situation is always tricky. For me, I don't know if I handled perfectly, but I think I did my best. Something I kind of regretted is that I didn't tell him in his face that it's not okay to do stuff like that. It's not okay to say. It's not appropriate to make jokes like that.
Right.
So my advice to somebody who might experience the same is like I hope they can really stand up and then tell the person who's harassing and just say to their face, just stop. Otherwise, next time I will report to HR. Then this kind of behavior probably will, it's like a vicious circle, right? At some point, if it stops, it will stop.
Yeah, I do understand though, to be honest, that it can be difficult to learn, to have the courage to say no to the bully in person. Especially no matter how you mentioned that it was a few years ago and you were younger. But to be honest, it can happen to anyone at any age. And when we least expect it, of course, we do not know how to react. So I myself had a similar situation, though the person is not my colleague, but I was looking for a job, and perhaps bullies understand that we are in a situation where we need help. So in your case, the person know that you are new in your job and you need the work visa. In my case, the bully knew that I was looking for a job, and therefore he told me that he has a job for me and he would like to meet me to discuss about the position, the job role. Halfway through the discussion, he starts to jump on me and get touchy. So I was shocked too. And like you, I didn't know what to say or react. Luckily, I did know to push him away. And I also say, no, please don't do that. And I never stand firm. Maybe also because I was scared. He was, after all, a big guy. And I quickly just say, I need to go somewhere already, and then I ran away. So but I was scared like you, and I did not dare to tell others because I was confused as well, worried that I was the one that gave people such a wrong impression, that I'm easy or that I like him too, and therefore he can do that to me. So our thoughts, our thinking will play tricks on our mind. So I really very appreciative of you willing to share this with us, because it is a subject that we don't bring up, casually. It's not a casual topic that you tell every friend that you meet over the terrace drinking a beer. It is something that we also struggle with in our mind. It takes a lot of courage to share it out, like what you did now. It also took me courage after that, a few years, and also only to a few close friends that I dare to say something like that happened. The purpose of doing this is to show our viewers that I know and we know it can be difficult to tell that person to stop in the face, but please do report to the HR, to the manager, because not every manager is like her manager. Some manager will do something, I'm sure about that. If my staff come to me, I will definitely do something about it, for sure. I can guarantee that. And I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here, but that is also why it's important that an organization can have like a mentoring program, a safe space for individual employees, regardless of what rank or position they are at, to have someone to go to that they can open up and get guidance on how to react when things like this happen, apart from the usual career advice, you know. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you being so open in sharing this. Our intention of sharing these stories in this special episode is to raise awareness and contribute to a broader dialogue on this very important issue about harassment at work as well as bullying. So we want to share and how our viewers can learn to react to it should they face such an unfortunate situation. And please, please, please always remember you should never blame yourself for this. So thank you very much, Iris. I really appreciate your sharing and coming here to share this very sensitive topic with us. Maybe before we end, let me throw you a surprise question. Despite all this unpleasant experience, if given a chance again, would you still choose to move abroad to study and find a job and live out of your home country?
I would do the same thing. I mean, it's an unfortunate experience, right? But as you said, it's not my fault. And it's just some people that they are not being good or
Right.
yeah. But the other experiences like I got from people from the Netherlands, from abroad, they have expressed their kindness to me. I received a lot of help. And yeah, I think it's very special. Sometimes I feel, you know, the language is not necessarily the barrier and the culture is also not. But I can really feel the real like the sincerity and the warmth from people, and that really make me feel okay, this is worthwhile. And even in like the weather is bad, life can be tough at times, but then if you still look positively and looking forward, I think it will be still good.
Great, great. Thank you very much for this very important message and reminder to all of us that we need to look forward. And indeed, not everyone living in this world are bad people. There are friends and good people out there who are there to support us. Like you and I, we don't know each other prior to this, but through a common friend, we now make a very nice friendship. So yes, the world is still very beautiful, and I definitely enjoy myself, and I feel that I learned so much living abroad. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you today.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. So if you enjoy this episode, be sure to subscribe and like our channel and leave us a review. Your feedback means a lot to us and help us to continue to bring you quality content. If you have any topic suggestions, questions, or feedback, we would love to hear from you. Until next time, take care and keep exploring. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.